Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LG Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering reality series show called Heart and Hustle Houston. This is season 1, episode 2. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe if you are new, and you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into this episode. Okay. I didn't write anything down. I think I should have, but right now I got to commit everything to memory, and hopefully I get everything out. We start the episode off with Elena. She has opened a new business that's derived from her original business. She's been in the makeup artist business for quite some time. She had been working with her husband Josh in the business, but she decided she wanted to branch out and do something on her own. She's still using the same business name, but has turned it into a luxury studio of sorts or whatever. So Josh comes by and we see him. I see nothing wrong with this Josh dude. I mean, he looks nice to me, But anyways, as we were talking about last week in regards to what Chloe was saying, that he's not fine or whatever, maybe she said it based upon, okay, look at you and look at him. I don't know, but I don't see what Chloe sees, but that's just her particular liking, even though it was insulting to your friend. Josh gave big props to Elena. It doesn't look like he's that type of controlling dude, or maybe just trying to wait until something collapses. Well, it looks like Elena is a good businesswoman and she's wanting something free. She said that she wanted her husband not to be her coworker. They talk about, sleeping in separate rooms, and they're really trying to find themselves in their individuality after all this time of being together. There's a lot of mistrust and things that have went on in the marriage. If that's in the marriage and not just at the engagement part, some other stuff went down. I don't know if we got to know or not, but since they're opening it up, I don't like things to be general. Not sure if they're going to have a reunion, especially for 8 episodes. I don't know, but if she's not going to say anything, or possibly I need to just look and see if there's some interviews out there where she goes into more details. Elena did bring up that, would you like to go into couples counseling? He said, well, first, I think we need individual. Well, he said for himself, I need individual therapy before we have couples therapy. It touched her that he wanted to make this step and all that good stuff. So that's cool. She did bring up what Chloe said about him not being a fine dude. And he said, I don't care what she got to say. In so many words, like, I don't answer to her. And Chloe still says, you're fine, blah, 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 blah. The next scene is with Manira and her family. They're having some content creation being done. Norman, her husband, is there, and her 2 children. He helps them get ready for this photo shoot that they're doing. And we get to see a little crossover between Family Empire Houston, Mr. Chris, who's the photographer for the realty place of his family. So I was glad to see him. I miss them. Just please tell me that they're still going to be on. Just let us know. Give us a hint, a clue, because y'all are very tight-lipped and then kind of just release stuff. Tell us about 2 weeks before it actually comes on. Please don't do that to us. Let us just know it's been renewed. I don't care if it's not coming out right now. But anyways, shout out to Chris. They do the content creating. Of course, she said that she's full-time. Afterwards, her and Norman have a talk. And then we're talking about, them as a couple getting to spend more time with each other. She said, we always kind of just do the norm as far as going out to restaurants. I love to eat. Norman kind of emphasized on that, and she was like, why are you trying to emphasize on that? No, but do some other activities outside of just doing the norm of going to restaurants. He agrees. They end up going to a cooking with a twist class, meaning the couples come together to cook with each other. Norman is the cook of the home. Manira says that she knows how to cook, but she doesn't really cook. But Norman is the cook. So it still sounds like he's at least a better cook in all of this. So they sit down, they have time to talk. We discover even that Norman is working a whole lot more. So my question is, since you gave up your engineering job and you're just doing content creating, has that, I don't want it to sound the way that it is, but it seems like there's a little bit more responsibility on Norm, even though you're like, you don't like that he's spending a lot of more time working. I'm just wondering because we didn't get clarification. So is the content creating enough as far as whatever you were contributing to the home, or has he always been the contributor of the home? That would be cool to know. Manera did bring up that she wanted Norman and the mom, well, she wanted the mom to come on dates as far as a way for Norman and the mom to have a greater relationship. Of course, he was nervous about that. Okay, we can do that. They just don't really mesh that well. Ooh, excuse me. They really just don't mesh that well. And she's just trying to find ways for them to more get along with each other, all that good stuff. Since we're still here with Manera, I'm going to just complete her whole package for today. Afterwards, Manera has some time with her mom. We find out that her mom and dad, they split up when she was young and all that good stuff over in India. She came to live with Manera. They didn't have the best relationship at the time, but they've grown to appreciate each other over time. I think she's been living with them for like 10 years or something like that. I think that's what she was saying. Or she's been in the US for 10 years. However, she's a great grandmother and helps out, She requests for the mom to spend more time with Norman. And of course, she was like, what do I got to do that for? She said, I'm not going to stop with my India traditions and how I was raised. And Manera said, you don't have to do all that. It's just that I think you guys have a lot more in common. And she said, well, he don't really talk to me, So obviously there's some work that needs to be done. Ro, she was highlighted today. She spent some time playing basketball with her child, Sophia. She'd asked Sophia, how does she like this house? Apparently they move a lot. And Sophia's not really down for all that. And for me, I'm just saying this as a suggestion, Ro is just not cool. I like stability and I don't like moving all around and all that good stuff. But she's saying, we may have to move around as I'm just settling in what I want to do full time, Sophia did open up in regards to something that's going on at her school. 2 girls decided to start bullying her over a guy. I guess this guy got some interest in Sophia, and they put Sophia in this group chat threatening that they were going to beat her up. At this point, I guess it's just no longer they can't really talk to each other and text each other and all that good stuff. So at least nobody got suspended or expelled or something to that nature, even though I might have some fire and putting some fire under their butts at this school. Like, absolutely not. And why are you putting my girl in? And why y'all know these numbers? That's way too comfortable. So Rose says that we get into that a little bit more, but she's thinking about, settling down and having a family. Sophia also rolls her eyes with that, I think. It's been her and Ro forever, so I could see where there would be some apprehension in regards to that. So we'll see how that goes. Later on, Ro meets up with Manera and I think it's Labrina, and they talk about life and all that. Manera talks about what she's doing, content creating, blah, 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 blah. And Ro gets on herself, she's single, but she's really now wanting to settle down and all of that. She says that, I've never really been in love. I've never really opened up myself. Labrina asked about Sophia's father. What was that like? She used to live with the baby father in Miami. And then he got indicted for some stuff that was going on, and all of his funds were frozen. Whatever happened, I don't really care to know. He's not on the show, so I'm cool with that. But however, that changed the dude and really shut him out. At that point, she was pregnant with Sophia when all this stuff happened, and everything shifted. I think she had her in her 20s or something like that. She was about to go and make Sophia a heaven baby. However, while she was about to get the procedure done, she got off that table or whatever, and she walked out, didn't tell no one, and she decided that she was going to raise this child on her own, and she feels like it's the best decision she ever made. However, she says that she thinks she needs therapy since she's really hard and not really have been open, but she wants that for herself as far as a mate and a family more than just Sophia. She said that she just didn't go to therapy because she didn't think that she would have someone to relate to and didn't know where she came from and all that good stuff. There's a lot out there that can do that for you. I know that you can always disconnect from therapy if it's not working for you and go to someone else. So it's cool that you're moving in that direction. I'm loving how these ladies are being transparent a whole lot more. I'm glad that we're getting into a little bit more story with Elena and what's going on, even with Josh, because I didn't know what to really think of Josh. I'm not sure if I'm 100% sold on him. There are things, and they're putting up this front like they're working on their marriage. So it's like, for me, I got to take it episode by episode, scene by scene with them, because I just don't know if they're being TV vulnerable or actually Joshua and Elena vulnerable. That's where I'm at with that. I'm not cutting them off, but I just got to see a whole lot more to really, I guess, make my decision on what I think. Chloe and is taking her daughters and wants her son to come out to her husband's gravesite. I guess they do this. This is the anniversary of his death. His nephews and his sister comes out, but her oldest child did not. So you see them cleaning the grave plot and all that good stuff to the headstone. She calls, I forgot his name. Anyways, she calls him and she says, "Are you coming out or what?" And he says he's not going to be able to do that. Chloe feels like there's disrespect and doesn't really know what's going on with him, and she really needs him there. Again, as I said last week, you are grown and you can make your own decisions, but at the same time, you can't just act like people gotta like what you do and fall in line with what you do. Sorry. And I know you guys have had a close relationship, and I think that there needs to be a good sit down. Obviously, he feels the type of way, and I don't think that he's wrong for having his feelings. They say the nice things about the twins. Or are they twins? Well, the girls. They said their nice things, and the other family members, they were saying nice things and echoing some of the things the daughters were saying. So Chloe said, I've kind of just shut things down as far as me being one of the best creatives in Houston, and I'm ready to get back to me. And I get that. I don't put much judgment on Chloe, but at the same time, your decisions do affect other people, unfortunately, especially this type of decision. So next, all the ladies that go to a rodeo. I am so happy that they're giving this. I forgot who the producer is, but the producer has been he's been one of the ones that have produced. Did he produce the Oscars? But he will be producing this year's Emmy Awards, the Primetime Emmy Awards. So I forgot his name. I think it starts with Jesse, but whatever. I'll have it next week. I love that they're showing it. I love the scenery that they're giving us as far as Houston. You can tell that there's a great vision out there to give us a lot of imagery and all that. Thank you for that. Thank you, because a lot aren't doing that. They go to this rodeo. She's never rode any type of horses and all that, so she's popping her cherry regarding that. She said that they were around some goats and they were ready to get away from there. And some lady, Shaniqua, comes around. Latoya really can't place her, and she's like, "Why is this girl talking to me? Because she acts like she know me, da 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 da." And then when she got around the other ladies, I guess she was able to make a connection or whatever. It seems like she's one of these people that we're probably testing out. Maybe she's a friend of or whatever, but she's within the pageant arena, modeling, beauty pageant era and all that good stuff. Arena. She talks about what she likes in a man. She likes the older men. Chloe said that was me. And I finally turned around and decided to do something else, but she wants the older men so that she could be more financially stable and all that good stuff. So I don't know how people feel about her, but it looks like she's going to be that one that, if she stays within the group, people are going to have a problem with. I don't know. So Elena and Chloe, they go off and they talk. And she wants to talk about, it was quite disrespectful and it was insulting when you were talking about my husband and all that. And Chloe was like, in her thing, you must not be happy in your marriage. You must not think that he's fine too. Da 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 da. If you're this defensive about it. In a way, I get it, because remember Ashley Darby was insulted that Candace said that her baby looked like Michael. Why would you be insulted by that? So obviously you have an ugly man. I can get that. But I think that Chloe did sincerely, She apologized. Let's just say that much. And then basically saying, well, he's not fine to me. I think in her head, but she more told that to Latoya later on. But he's not fine. Well, if he's fine to you, he's fine to you. Hey, y'all, Josh, Elena's husband, is fine. The finest man on the earth. So I think she took it as, oh, this is not really nothing, so let me go on and apologize, but still kind of met what she said, but wanted to give what Elena wanted. Like, I'm trying to say that she was sincere as far as, if I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry for doing that. But still, I meant what I said. In my opinion, that's what she gave off. So later on, Chloe and Latoya talked. And she said, can you believe that Elena wanted to come to me about that, him being fine? And Latoya did say, well, you know, that's not right. You shouldn't be talking about somebody's family like that. I think Elena said, well, when they were talking, well, how would you feel if I started talking about your family like that? I think that's when she said, fine, I understand. I won't. I'm sorry for doing that. So anyways, Latoya kind of just said, you know, that's not good to do that. And then Latoya decided to stir the pot and say, well, you know, Elena said that you can't even pull the caliber of men that she can, but you've only had Josh. That was she's had other men though, you know. So Chloe's like, oh, is that what you want to say? Well, then I guess she really wants some type of fight or whatever. I'm like, Latoya, you should have let that go, because they were letting it go and making amends. Like, I know you got to stir the pot for the show, but you're going to be the messy one, which I thought you were more the leader of this group. But I also thought the Queen Bee on Bell Collective was going to be the leader, but she's messy as HE double hockey sticks over there. But that's all I do have for this episode. It was another good episode. I loved it. So keep bringing it, ladies. I love it. I love the balance that they're giving us. But you guys can leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought of this episode and this review. Like this video and also share it and subscribe. Just to let you know, my Love and Marriage Huntsville video is out. You'll soon have the remaining 2 episodes of The Hunting Wives. This is a series that I'm covering that is currently streaming on Netflix. Get into it. It's in my playlist. And I will have my weekly review of Beyond the Gates prayerfully later on this afternoon. I appreciate you, and you have a great week. Peace.